Welcome, my name is Linus. In this video, I will tell you how I found a way around my insomnia while I was on a high dose of cortisone. So for you who are a little bit impatient, here's what I did. I did some kind of cardiovascular training for at least 1 hour every day. Many of the days I was training for more than 2 hours. That thing alone made my sleep to be almost normal. So for an effort of 1 to 2 hours a day, I was rewarded a functioning life instead of a blurry insomnia state of not being able to sleep and then unable to function as a normal human. I think everyone that has had some real sleeping problems probably know what I'm talking about. Cortisone is a widely used medical substance in many different diseases. It can be used in breathing problems like asthma or COPD, autoimmune diseases like rheumatoid arthritis and multiple sclerosis, neurological disorders like brain edema due to brain metastasis, and so on. There are so many uses for this type of substance that the list could go on for a very long time. There are unfortunately some bad side effects too, and today I will be talking about one that I had to struggle with for a very long time. I had some serious problem with my sleep, insomnia. The first time I got on a high dose of cortisone, I was in hospital. The impact the cortisone had on my body was absolutely fantastic, going from feeling sicker than ever experienced in my life to feeling almost as normal in just an hour was amazing. Without cortisone, I would have died then. Cortisone can be a real lifesaver in many severe and life-threatening situations. I can only say that I am so happy that it exists. About 1 week after I started the cortisone treatment, I started to have sleeping problems. It was hard for me to fall asleep, and I woke up very early. I was tired during the days, but not so tired that I could go and sleep. The cortisone was pushing my body, so I only slept for 2 to 3 hours a day, or 2 to 4 hours a day. My mind was very blurry, and I was not capable of doing anything productive. I was at hospital the whole time, so I didn't have to bother much about taking care of everyday stuff that you need to do when you're at home. I don't think I had been able to sort things out at home. My mind was not working at the level, so I could take care of myself properly. 3 or 4 months later, I had to go for another high dose of cortisone treatment. And I started having sleeping issues just after a couple of days. This time I was at home, and that made things more problematic. To say that my wife had to take extra responsibility is an underestimation. It was very hard for her at the time. I started to push my doctors to lower the cortisone levels. I don't know if that made any difference, but I know I can see it wasn't productive. The good thing for me then was that every time that the cortisone dose was lowered, I could sleep better for 4 or 5 nights. After some more months, I had to go on a new, very high dose cortisone treatment. And the doctors made it clear to me that this time it will be for a very long time. So I was prescribed to take 1 milligram of prednisone for every kilo of body weight. So for me that meant 70 milligrams of prednisone every morning. I realized that I had to try to find a way to deal with the situation. Since I lost a lot of muscle and overall fitness the last time I was on the high dose cortisone, I thought that maybe I should continue and train. So I asked my doctors if it was okay to train while on a high dose cortisone. They said it was just fine. So I started to train on my bike gently. I remember when I woke up the day after, and the clock was almost 6 in the morning, to my big surprise and happiness. I trained on my bike for almost an hour the next day, and then felt tired like almost normal in the evening. Went to bed and fell asleep fast. Woke up after 6 o'clock, very happy and surprised again. Laying in my bed and thinking, and then realizing that it was probably the training that had made my insomnia just go away. I continued to train 1 to 2 hours every day. The training I did was making my breathing go a little bit heavy, but I didn't push hard. I think the long duration was the key. Easy cardiovascular training for a long duration was the winning concept for me. It was a little bit boring sometimes. I tried to alternate with some walking and swimming. And of course, watching YouTube when I was indoor on my training bike. Here you can see me on my trainer. Not always very funny, but very worth the time. If you have sleeping problems due to cortisone and want to try training to see if it helps, talk to your doctor, make sure it's okay, even though your fitness level might be very poor at the moment. Take it from where your fitness is right now. My recommendation is that you first try to build up the exercise time and hold back on the intensity. I did go up in intensity in intervals of 1 to 8 minutes after a while, mostly to make the training more fun. Choose an activity that you like. I do a lot of fast walking in the forest now and find that very enjoyable. Easy regular training have a lot of health benefits, like decreased risk of cardiovascular diseases and depression. My experience is that it helps the body and mind to recover in many ways. Cortisol, not cortisone, is the natural hormone that your body produces, and it is a very important hormone. The hormone is produced by the adrenal cortex. The medication is usually taken in a little bit different form, so that the body will turn the substance into a usable cortisol. There are a wide variety of little bit different medical substances that the body then can transform and use as cortisol. As a group, they are called corticosteroids, or derivatives of cortisol. The most common used cortisone substance for synthetic use is probably prednisone. Betamethasone is also pretty common in my home country. I've tried them both in high dose, systemic dose, and could not tell the difference in effect or side effects. Sleeping problems while on cortisone is usually when you're on a systemic high dose. If you're doing a local cortisone treatment, like using an inhaler or a cream, it's highly unlikely that you will have any sleeping problems due to the cortisone use. To use local cortisone is usually much better when it comes to side effects. But in many cases it isn't possible. I recommend you to always ask your doctor if there is any alternative to systemic cortisone to a local one. I once got some serious problem with my stomach, and the doctors had to put me on a high dose of systemic cortisone. But that could be lowered pretty quickly due to use of a local acting cortisone instead, with a minimum of side effects. Cortisone as a medical substance is very potent, but the side effects could be so hard for the patient, so they stop taking the pills, which unfortunately, as I understand, is quite common and can have some devastating consequences. I have met people that could not stand the side effects and lost their faith in their doctors and decided to quit cortisone, ending up with totally destroyed finger joints in just a couple of weeks. My goal with this video is to give you information so you can better handle the side effects of cortisone use. It makes me worried when I see how much wrong and unbalanced information there is out on the internet regarding cortisone. If you have a physician that is scientifically schooled, he or she will not prescribe you any type of cortisone if it isn't needed. Your own doctor's goal is to treat you according to the best science there is. The main goal for many YouTube or internet doctors is to get as many views as possible. There are of course exceptions, and there are also a lot of good information out. But the information you will get from internet and also from me is very general. In the opposite, your physician have to tailor your treatment and medications for you. Remember that. Hope you find some value from this video. If you have any questions or input on the content, I'll be happy if you leave a comment. Take care.